Hey y'all, it's Bethany with Wandering Pearl Podcast, and welcome to episode 39. I have some finished objects to share with you this time. I have some cast-ons, some future cast-ons, all kinds of things to share with you today. I'm really excited, so we're going to jump in just a second. But first, I wanted to tell you what I am wearing. This is the Salty Air Tee. And I made this last summer, and I absolutely love it. It's such a fun, beautiful, kind of lacy yoke. It's not really a yoke. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Anyways, it's by Samantha Gurin, excuse me, and I made this out of Illimani yarn in the colorway Fawn. It is a cotton blend yarn, and it is just amazing to wear. I love it, and I would definitely use this yarn again and make more patterns from Samantha in the future. So that is what I'm wearing today. It is kind of warm today for Utah, but that's what we've been going with all winter, right? So it is 39 degrees here in northern Utah. As you can see, the snow is coming and going. It was snowing not even an hour ago. Yeah, like really, really snowing, but now it's nice and sunny. We're supposed to have some rain later. It's just, I don't know. Utah doesn't know what it's doing this year, so we're just going with it and kind of enjoying the mild winter, I suppose. But yeah, it's a mess. So that's what's up here. I did want to mention I had a video drop since the last podcast, and it was a week of making. I did a whole week of finishing projects and kind of really showing you what I made all week. So it's a fun little vlog. If you haven't checked it out, I will link it here for you guys. And you can see me actually finish one of these projects that I'm going to talk about in just a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into those finished objects. I finished it. I absolutely love this granny shawl so much. And as I mentioned in the last segment, I did finish this during the week of making vlog. So if you want to see more details and how I finished it and all my goals and things like that, go check out that vlog. But I am just in love with this pattern, this shawl, this yarn, everything about it. So let's talk some details about it real fast. This is the Granny Wrap by Anna Boo's House, and it is a free pattern, so go check it out. It is really, really amazing, really simple, and if you do it like I did with an advent, it goes by so fast because you just want to get to the next color. So it's really fun. Speaking of advents, I used the Blush Yarns 2023 advent for mine, and I love that that's what I use this for. I think it turned out beautifully, showcases Natalie's colors beautifully, and really showcases the pattern as well. I ended up using a D hook, which is a 3.25 millimeter. I probably could have gone up a couple hook sizes and been really good on it. I forgot that I am a tight crocheter and a loose knitter, but a tight crocheter, which is really strange. But I think that I probably could have gone up a few and it would have been good. But I'm okay with what had happened and how it all went. Let's see. What else did I say? Oh, yes. I was inspired by Allie of Starry Eyes Allie on Instagram, and she has Little Drops of Wonderful podcast on YouTube. She's amazing. She made this with her advent from a homespun house back in December, and it made me want to make one, and that is exactly why I made it. So I thank you, Allie. She doesn't watch, and she doesn't know who I am, but I want to thank you for suggesting this beautiful pattern because I just love it and I love how it turned out. I'll probably put up some video of the shawl so you can get a really good view of it. I've already put it to use. I'm going to be keeping it in the truck for now, and I keep bringing it in and out of the truck, but now it's probably just going to stay in there to keep warm, keep my legs warm, and just have an extra layer when we're driving around. And I really just love it. I used almost every single ounce of yarn for this as well. I used 514 grams of 25 20-gram minis. I think the most I had at the end was like maybe 2 grams left over, and that was because I didn't want to like do halfway with these last few colors, just because they're so different with the contrast between the bronze and the blue here. So at the end I was only getting 2 rows per mini, which doesn't seem like a lot, especially when you look up here and there's like a ton, but I was glad to at least be getting 2 of those. Oh, the sun's gonna be a problem, isn't it? We're just gonna have to work with it. I don't know. I might be able to do this. Maybe. We'll see if that works for now. Cross our fingers, we'll see. But I really, really enjoyed this. I love how it turned out. And I was so excited to get it finished for the pigskin party. So this was the last entry for me for the pigskin party. And let me get my notes. I ended up getting 657 points for it, which I was really, really, really happy about. And I got, in total, I came, I believe, 73rd in the entire points system and got 3,174 points for the pigskin party. So I was happy with that. It was a fun make along, and I definitely plan to do it next year as well. I mean, I'm keeping track of all my grams and yards anyways, so, you know, putting it in there isn't that difficult to do. So I will definitely be participating next football season as well. What else do I have to say about it? Yards. I didn't tell you how many yards. My bangs are doing something really crazy today, so I apologize. But I ended up using 2,246 yards, and then the 514 grams. So I'm very, very pleased with this make. Was super fun. I did want to mention, I didn't write it down though, how it grew and how big it actually is. So let me pull that up real fast. I think I have it on my, maybe I don't. Where did I put that? Hold for a minute, please. Okay, I found it in one of all of my many notes that I was keeping for that week. So pre-blocking, this was 52 by 52 by 72, since it is a triangle. So those shorter ones were 52 and then the long one was 72 inches. And then after blocking, it blocked out to 59 by 81. So it grew quite a bit. I didn't think that it was going to grow that much being crochet. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect since I have never really blocked anything crochet before. But yeah, it grew quite a bit and I'm really happy with the size. I wouldn't hate it if it were bigger, but it's a really good size and it's just so pretty. I just love it so much. So that's the first finished object and it's a big one and I was really happy to get it finished. I loved making it. I really enjoyed doing it, which I wasn't sure if I was going to do, but yeah, that one is checked off my list of makes to do. I finished something else. So I finished the Jervis gloves for Bryan, which I am so excited to have these finished. They were a labor of love, as I talked about before, but they are the Jervis gloves. It is a really, really great pattern. As much as I gripe and complain about it, I gripe and complain because it's twisted rib and I don't enjoy doing that. But the pattern is really, really amazing. Let's go over some details and then we'll chat a little bit more about it. So these are the Jervis gloves by Alexandra Brink, and I used yarn by Dyeabolical Yarn in the colorway Fred, which is this one. It was a gift from my dear friend Anne, so thank you very much, Anne. My husband is so excited for these. He loves the color, and yeah, they're just amazing. So I ended up making the size medium for him. I thought I was going to have to make the large size, but when I started them, they were way, way too big. So I ripped them out and started the medium size and they fit really, really well. I did end up using a US 1 and a US 1.5, which are 2.25 millimeter and 2.5 millimeter needles. And I used, for everything but the fingers, I used a ChiaoGoo magic loop. And then I went to some DPNs, and I don't even know who those DPNs are by. Zing. They might be Zing DPNs. I can't remember because I don't use them very often. But that's what I used for the fingers. because that just works the best. So I ended up using 90.6 grams for these and 341 yards. And they turned out really well. Bryan's going to be really happy to have them for work now. I mean, obviously they're way big on my hand, but they fit his hand really, really well. Look at the thumb. So the thing about these that I don't like is the twisted rib, but the twisted rib makes the pattern and it makes them look so good. So yeah, it is what it is. But these are done. I'm so glad they're done. They were on my to-do list for February, so I can now check those off, and he now has some gloves that I knew he was going to want. I have 3 active works in progress to share with you, and they are all brand new. So I am excited to jump in and start sharing these with you. For the first one is another pair of Jervis gloves. So much twisted rib. I'm kind of getting used to it now, since this is like the 3rd glove that I have made in the last 2 weeks. But here we go. These are for Greyson. He decided that he wanted some gloves as well. And he went through my stash, and at first he didn't really like anything in my stash and wanted something green. But then he found this yarn that I had for a very long time and decided that that is what he wanted his out. So these again are by Alexander Brink. And I am using a US 0, a US 1, and a US 1.5 for his. Since his hands are a little bit smaller, I thought that might be good for him. So this right here is what I have so far. I am working on the gusset, the thumb gusset right now. I don't have very much to do. And then I will be splitting and working up the hand, which I don't think will be very big. But his hand is actually about the size of mine. His fingers are just a little smaller. So yeah, it's like a full-size glove. But I'm actually using US 0s for this part, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to use the 1.5s. But I figured since his hand is a little smaller, I would use the 0s, and that would just scrunch it in just a little bit more for him. So far it's working. But we'll see how it goes. This is what the yarn looks like caked up. It's really pretty. This is by Rainbow Peak Yarns in the colorway Time Travel, which I love. I think it's a Doctor Who colorway. But this yarn is really, really plump. I'm sure it's an 80. Yeah, it's an 80, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon, 80% superwash. And it's really, really plump. So it is making it a little harder to work with. But I think they're going to be so, so cozy. So I am working on these. And then just working on them, trying to get them done. My goal is to have this pair done by the end of the month. So by the next podcast, I should be showing you some finished gloves. And I am housing this in my Cottontail Farms. I think this is the small zip bag that she has. I love my little koala bag. Yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm basically going by exactly like the pattern. I keep trying it on him a little bit to just make sure it's still working. But I don't think I'm going to have to shorten anything except for maybe the fingers just a little bit. But using my Chow Goo needles and yeah, just doing more twisted rib. I'm going to be an expert at it by the time I'm done. Next new project that I have to share with you is in my Cottontail Farm, in my Mountain State Stitches bag. This is her small bag by Jenny. And I was getting out a whole bunch of yarn to plan for a project earlier this week. And I was thinking, I really want another Musselburgh, which is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. And I was like, well, what yarn would I want to do? So I actually did an Instagram poll between this yarn and then yarn that was from Sorella yarn. This yarn by Blush Yarns, my friend Natalie's yarn, is what won out. I just absolutely loved it. This is called Mountain Flowers, and this is what I'm making my Musselburgh out of. How beautiful is that? I just think this is the prettiest yarn I've ever seen. It's gorgeous. So this is what I'm making. I just have all of the decreases done. So it is ready for round and round and round. And yeah, This is I'm going to take in the car with me knitting, too tired to think about anything else knitting, you know, just to have ready to go. I almost worked on it some last night, but then I got really into this next project I'm going to tell you about, and I didn't get to work on it any. But I do have a little stitch marker on here. This is where my increases ended. So this is where the stockinette began, and this is a little mustard seed that my sister gave me for my birthday, Christmas. I mean, they're next to each other, so they kind of blend together. But it's in just kind of a representation of having the faith of a mustard seed and that you can move mountains. And I love that. So this is on my Musselburgh, and I also have my stitch stoppers from Fox and Pine, which I love. Do you see this needle? Look at how crooked that is. Oh, I just use that on the feeder side. But these are my Chiaoku. I think these are 16-inch, so they work out really well. But I just had to cast this on, and it's just one of those projects. I'm really excited to have another Musselburgh. I have one from, I probably made it in 2021 that I've been wearing. And I was like, you know what? I really want another one. So I'm going to make it exactly like that one because I love how that fits. And just enjoy having another Musselburgh. It's always a great hat pattern and a great thing to have on the needles. Did I have any other notes about it? Yes, I was going to tell you, I got 6 stitches per inch, and I'm doing the adult medium size. And for my cast on, I use the disappearing loop cast on, which I watch a tutorial for on YouTube every single time I do it because I can never remember, but I have those linked in all of my Musselburgh project pages, so you can check it out there if you're interested as well. And honestly, the most beautiful yarn I've ever seen, so I'm excited to be using it. My last work in progress is a brand new cast on, and wasn't really something that I was planning to cast on, but then kind of got the itch to do it, and actually was frogged and restarted in a new project. So let's talk about the current project. It is the Pocket Full of Posey blanket, and it is a free pattern by Purl Soho, and I am kind of obsessed with it at the moment. I am enjoying it so much. I just started it a couple nights ago, but it is so fun. I am housing this in my friend Susie's bag that she sent me. Love this bag, but this is going to outgrow this bag really fast, so I'm just going to enjoy it for right now. But this is what I have so far. It is Brioche, and I am just a lover of Brioche so much. I love it. So I am using the Bear yarn that I got for my Cozy Comfort throw that I was using and holding double. I got extra yarn for that, and that is what I am using for this as the main color, the white. And then I have a bunch of minis that I've had. I got some Oopsie sales from Sorella. I have some leftover minis from last year's Blush Yarns Advent, and they've just been sitting up there for years and I haven't used them. So I pulled down all of my minis and kind of put together kind of a fade, and am going to use all of those minis up. So I have some minis in here that you can kind of see. Well, actually just see the balls of yarn, but I have them also in this bag of just a whole bunch of different minis. I have them sectioned off for different times, and that's what I'm going to use for this blanket. I can't believe that I am doing a Brioche huge blanket. We'll see if I make it through, but as of right now, I am kind of obsessed with it and really loving it. So I am using a US 2 needle, which is so tiny for a blanket. It calls for a US 2.5 in the pattern, but I have a 2.5, but it's like a 16-inch, and that wasn't going to work with all these stitches. So I was like, I'll just use the 2 and it'll be okay. So that's what I'm doing. So far it's working out really well. I mean, it might take a little longer maybe. I don't know. It's okay. It'll be fine. And this is just so fun. Really fun. If you are new to Brioche or have never done Brioche before and you want to try a pattern, one, I probably wouldn't pick a blanket. But if you're looking for a blanket, this one's really great because there's no increasing, no decreasing. It is just straight back and forth brioche. And it's a really good way to get in the rhythm and to just master that skill. So again, I wouldn't recommend a blanket, full-size blanket, maybe a baby blanket. But yeah, I am really, really loving this. So this was something else and I ripped it out. So I didn't even take a picture of it. I cast it on a few nights ago, or a few nights before I cast this one on. And it was the Euphorbia wrap by Amba O'Brien. And I cast it on. I was holding this many and this yarn double to make it DK weight, and was working on that. And I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't want to pick it up. I didn't want to work on it, and I wasn't excited for it after I got it cast on. So then a couple nights ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just frog it and try this blanket and see if I like it. And I have loved it so far. So I think I made the right choice with that. The dog just sneezed. But yeah, that's what I did. So that's the last work in progress. It's going to be a very long-term one. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, I am really, really enjoying it. So one day last week, I got like all my yarn down and was really in the mood to just pick out colors for different projects and kind of plan out some projects. So that is what created the blanket. That's what created the Musselburgh, and that's what created kind of Greyson's gloves as well, because he didn't really pick out a color until he had seen all of my colors out. And then Felicity also picked out a color because she wants some gloves. That's right. Another pair of twisted rib gloves are on the needles, or coming on the needles once these ones are done. So she picked out some yarn, and I'm going to show you that real fast. I knew this was the yarn that she was going to pick, but she proved me right and picked it. So this is the yarn that she has chosen, and it is by Zen Yarn Garden. It is purple and dark and moody, and I knew that's exactly what she was going to pick. This is their tag, and it is in Blueberry Muffin. And my friend Anne also gifted me this yarn, so thank you so much. I believe it was Anne. Yes, it was Anne. I think, am I wrong? If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen, and I apologize, but I'm pretty sure it was Anne who gave me this. Or did Heather give it to me? I don't know. I'm going to have to put it on the screen. I should have it in my Ravelry. But thank you to my dear friend who gave me this yarn. Felicity is going to have some gloves out of it, and I think it's going to be really, really pretty. So that I'm just housing in this bag with the other pair of gloves that I am working on. So once I cast those off, I'll cast these on, and then I'll be done with gloves for a while, unless Kai wants some. But he has some bot gloves that he really likes that are fingery, so I'm going to try to just keep him with those. We'll see. But I have another project planned out that I am really, really excited about, and I'm going to show you some of the yarns. I'm not 100% sure on which colors I'm going to go with, but I think I know for sure. So I've caked up all the yarn. I had a whole, I watched Cozy Up Knits, and I watched Slip Slip Sis, and just had a cake party where I caked up all of these. So they're all just in my Cottontail Farms bag right now, but I am going to make another bubble cardigan. And I'm going to call it the Bubble Cardigan 2.0, since it is my second one. And I am so excited to make this. I wear the one that I have now all the time. It is just such a great pattern. It's so cozy. It was really fun to make. And I'm just really loving it, and I'm looking forward to making another one. I have decided to make a size smaller than I did last time, so I will be making the size medium and probably shortening it just a little bit. And I just need to do the swatch for it right now. The yarn, I'm planning to use a US 3 and a US 4, which is what I used in my original bubble cardigan. So I will swatch with the 4 and see if that works. But yeah, you ready to see the yarns I have? Okay, so let me show you the ones I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using. We'll see if we can do this. So here's 3. I'm going to be using 6 colors. Last time I used 7 colors. So we'll see how it goes. But these are the ones that I am planning. And I think they're really pretty. So I have these 2 solids that are going to go in between these 2. This isn't the order that I'm thinking, obviously. But yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get it in closer. I'll put in a picture of them because they're really pretty. So yes, I am thinking these, but the first time I did it, I thought this with this one. But once I caked this one up, I didn't really think that it went with the others. So then I got this one and put it in, and I think it flows a lot better. But let's change this real fast. It's going to be something more along the lines of this. So it's kind of going to flow a little better with the pinks and the purples. But let me show you these colors up close. Let me try not to destroy all of my pretty cakes. Okay, so I have 3 blush yarns. This one is the first blush yarns. I love this one so much. I use this for my first bubble cardigan. It is the collar and also the cuffs. So I'm also planning to use it in this one, but I'm going to use it, I think, for the cuffs and for the collar again, but also as a stripe. We'll see how that looks, but it's definitely going to be a stripe to begin with. Then this is another blush yarns, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think this one has a colorway, but this is one that I was like, yes, that's definitely going in. And then this one might look a little familiar. This is the second skein of the mountain flowers that I have that I'm making the Musselburgh out of. So this is also going to go into the cardigan, and I'm really excited because this is my favorite. So I will be working on it in 2 projects. And then this is what I actually used for a shawl, or what was it called? Let me see if I can find what it was called. I made it a couple years ago, but it is Yarn Cafe Creations, an angel cake. And I used this, darn, what was that called? For my Brioche Shrug, which I'll have a picture. It is Sushi Shrug by Suzanne Summer. And this is what I actually used for that. And I had an extra skein, so I think it'll go really well. And this one is by, what am I thinking here? This one is by Gaddy Yarn Co. And it is in Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. And I have had this one a long time, probably since like 2021 maybe. But I think that's the one I'm going to end up using with it. I will swatch to make sure, but that's what I'm thinking. And then this one I used for the little duck that I made my friend Stephanie. And this is from Floyd, Yarn Over Floyd. And the colorway, I think it's, what is the colorway? Marigold. So it's Yarn Over Floyd. It is a local to Virginia yarn store, so a local to where I am born and bred. And I'm thinking that one for a contrast. But then I'm actually a little concerned that the yellow is going to be too much. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to like these colors together. And then the one that I was planning to use but once I caked up, didn't really think would go well, is this one. And it is by Southern Storytime in Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And it's a beautiful yarn. I just don't think that the colors match so well with the others. So I'm going to swatch first with the ones I think I'm going to use. And then if I'm kind of iffy on it, I'll swatch this one too. But yeah, I'm really excited to get that started. I am also going to be doing a vlog about the whole process. So I filmed picking out the yarn, which took me ages to do. I kept texting Stephanie and was like, what about this one? And what about this one? And what about this one? Asking her advice. And yeah, I went through several different options for sure. And then I caked them and was like, no, and went through some other options. But yeah. It was a fun day of planning a whole bunch of projects. So I'm hoping to start this by the end of the month. I'm not 100% sure when it'll get started. I need to do the swatch next. And yeah, just go from there. I started a lot of projects this week, which is not something that I normally do. So I want to make sure that I don't get overwhelmed and kind of stress myself out. So I'm just going to hold off a little bit on this one. But I'm really, really excited about it. And I think the vlog about the whole process is going to be really neat as well. So yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. But I'm excited. I had forgotten to ask questions for this podcast, so I put one up about, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, and there haven't been any yet. So maybe next time I will remember to have questions, but I don't seem to have any right now. So we're just going to jump into life and just go through that for right now. So it has been 2 weeks. Nothing really that exciting has happened. I'm still having a lot of trouble getting motivation to want to do anything. I don't know if that's just I've become lazy or if that's because of COVID lingering. But it's been since COVID. So I'm thinking that might be just still lingering a little bit. But yeah, it's just been a couple weeks, nothing too exciting to talk about or to report or anything like that. I did have 2 fun things I did want to mention. This past week, I was interviewed by the Hands-On Knitting Center, which is a yarn store in California. I believe it's Southern California. And my friend Gretchen is one of the co-owners there. It is a group that is owned, I believe, by 12 or 11 different women, and they don't have any employees. So every time that you talk to someone working there, it is one of the owners, which is really neat. They have a really fun Facebook page, which I will have linked down below for you, and you can also watch the interview that they did with me there. It was a really fun chatting with Gretchen and just kind of talking about life and the podcast and knitting and crocheting and all different things like that. It was a real pleasure to be able to do that. So thank you, Gretchen. I know she watches sometimes. I just want to say it was such a nice experience, and thank you for considering me as for that. That's really neat and kind of mind-boggling. Last night we went down to town and had dinner with my friend Laurie and her husband Bob, and we just had a really good time just chatting and eating good food, and it was really nice. Laurie is one of the Advent swaps that I did this past December. We are actually going, I think, yarn shopping in a few days. So I'm excited to go to a couple of yarn stores that I've never been to in this area before we head out and move next month, because this contract is ending. So we are in the midst of figuring out where we are going. Bryan actually has an interview tomorrow with a hospital. So we are really, really excited and hopeful that that is where we are going to be going. Just praying God's will over that. And yeah, that's kind of been the last week, is kind of figuring out jobs, which isn't really that interesting and it can be quite stressful. So I guess that's really what's taken up my time, but hopefully it's going to work out for this one that he's talking to tomorrow, which will be yesterday for you guys. So if you want to know how it goes, just ask in the comments and I'll be happy to tell you, but I just don't know right now. But what else did I have to say? I think that's basically it. Life's been quiet, kind of, and we're just gearing up for the next move. This job, I'm not going to say where it might be just yet, but it would be a new state and a new city for us, and a new area to explore. So that would be really exciting, and we're really hopeful for that. So I'm just praying God's will that that happens, and we would definitely appreciate your prayers as well. So thank you. And then just some TV real fast. I have been watching Dr. Quinn a whole lot. A lot of TV came on since the Super Bowl. Did we talk about that? Where the Chiefs won and nearly gave us all a heart attack. Like what? The dog's gonna lay down. Like what is happening? No, River, go lay down. She has to get under the tripod. Anyways, the Chiefs won, and that was super exciting. I had like a heart attack about the game and couldn't watch some plays and things like that, but they won, and then a whole bunch of new TV started coming on, and I have really just ignored all of it and watched like 40-year-old television. I guess it's 30-year-old television. Yeah, and enjoyed it a lot. So I am on season 5, I think. I'm on the season before the last season. But I'm at the end of that season almost, so I'm really enjoying just watching that and enjoying it. And I'm going to do that, and then I'll catch up on regular TV later. With Felicity, well, me and Bryan wanted to watch the new Indiana Jones movie because we hadn't seen that one, The Dial of Destiny, and Felicity was interested in watching it. So we were like, well, you have to start at the beginning and watch all of them. So that's what we did. We started with we started with the Ark of the Covenant one, yes, which is my favorite. And then we watched all of them and finished with the newest one, which none of us had seen, which was really good. I'm really happy with how they ended it, and yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, that was so sweet. So I love Indiana Jones. I've grown up on it my whole life, and yeah, I really enjoyed watching that with Felicity. She enjoyed it, so that was fun. I think Temple of Doom might have traumatized her a little bit, but I was watching that when I was like 6 years old, so she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Another thing that I finished was Bad Batch, which is the Star Wars animated show, and finished season 2, and such a good show, so good. Season 3 comes out this week, and I am so excited. Me and Felicity are like counting the days and ready to watch it. So yeah, super excited about that. And then Bryan and I found this show called Living Alaska. It's old. It's like anywhere from 10 to 5 years old. But it's about people buying houses in like Alaska, and it's just been really interesting. That is not where we're going next for our assignment. So sorry, that's not it. But it's just been really fun to watch that and kind of see different parts of Alaska, because that is a big goal for us to end up in Alaska this year. So we've just been kind of looking at the Fairbanks and all the different areas there, and it's just been really fun. And I am dying to see a moose. I want to see a moose so bad. I love moose, but I've never seen one. Bryan has here in Utah, but I haven't. And I want to see a moose. So I would be the one person that would drive all the way through Canada, get to Alaska, and still not see a moose. That would be me. But hopefully that won't happen. So those are all the notes I have for you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I know I have some new viewers. I hope that you have enjoyed the content. And let me know of any changes or anything you would like to see, any vlogs you'd like to see or anything like that. But I'm going to sign off for this podcast, and I will see you in March. And I hope you have a great rest of February.